We had hoped to give these awards in person this fall when we returned to school, so we could shake hands and give hugs and really celebrate people the way that Kents Hill always does. Unfortunately, we are still unable to gather in large groups to do that. It in no way diminishes your accomplishments or how proud we are of all of you who are going to receive awards today. My sincere congratulations to each and every one of you. I now would like to introduce our Dean of Academics, Dr. Priest, who will be the Master of Ceremonies today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. The timing of today's event is very strange because this is a very strange time. Usually, we end each school year by giving academic awards to students from all grade levels, and we celebrate the recipients in person with the entire Kents Hill community. Usually, we begin each new school year by holding an event called Convocation, in which we announce the previous year's honor roll recipients, listen to faculty and student speakers, and set the tone for the academic year. We haven't done any of those things in the past 5 months because, like schools across the country, we've all been scrambling in response to a once-in-a-generation crisis that has fundamentally altered the way we live, the way we connect, and the way we learn. We held an academic award ceremony last spring, but only recognized our graduating seniors. And we began the 2020-2021 school year less in a spirit of celebration than a profound caution, with new health and safety protocols to master and a new academic schedule to manage. So today we're doing two really important things. We're finally recognizing the winners of last year's grades 9 through 11 academic awards, and we're hearing from both faculty and student speakers who will not only acknowledge the strangeness of this moment in Kents Hill's history, but, just as importantly, offer advice based on their own experiences. Before we get started with the awards, I just want to recall briefly how things ended last year. In early March, we left for spring break just as COVID-19 was spiking in the U.S. Kents Hill's faculty rushed to get students home safely and held their breaths as they put international students on planes and monitored their journeys home. At that point, we all expected to return to campus in person, but we were ultimately forced to change our plans in response to the pandemic. Instead of enjoying the beauty of a Maine spring together, we interacted through endless Zoom meetings and had to create remote versions of our most cherished end-of-year rituals, including graduation. In short, last spring was really, really hard. And because of that, I am extraordinarily proud of how well our Kents Hill students performed. Despite the challenges they faced, the vast majority of them continued to attend class, complete their assignments, and reach out for extra help when they needed it. The results speak for themselves. Not counting last year's graduates, 40 Kents Hill students made the honor roll, and over 50 earned honors with distinction. That is just amazing. So let's announce some award winners, starting with a few of last year's excellent freshmen. The Crystal Chase Award is given to that freshman who combines a serious commitment to academics with enthusiastic involvement in all aspects of school life. It is awarded in the memory of Crystal Chase, class of 1899. The 2020 recipient of the Crystal Chase Award is Naomi McGadney. The Warren E. Tamaris Award is presented annually to the freshman who, through his character, scholarship, and dedication best exemplifies the educational philosophy of Mr. Tamaris to do your best. The 2020 recipient of the Warren E. Tamaris Award is Cordell Perne. The Kensel Award for Academic Achievement is given to 4 freshman students for educational commitment, growth, or improvement. The 4 2020 freshman recipients of this award are Rose Jenkins, Scott Turney, Charlotte Harper Cunningham, and Austin Weiss. Congratulations. When I look back at last spring, when I think of our award winners, as well as the impressive number of students who made honor roll and honors with distinction, I can't help but recall the Kensel core values. Our students exhibited remarkable courage and responsibility, and their commitment to scholarship was on full display. But if I had to select one core value that defined our student body last year, it would have to be perseverance. That character trait that allows us to keep banging away at something no matter how difficult or unpleasant it is. All Kensel students are good at persevering, but our first student speaker has absolutely personified this core value through her remarkable ability to navigate academic and personal obstacles with exceptional grace. So in a second here, please give your undivided attention to Danielle Eid.
Hello everyone. There are many situations that led me to Kent Hill and to where I am today. On this day, I am a 4-year senior here and I'm planning to graduate in just 7 short months. There are moments where I mentally cannot wrap my head around the fact that I am indeed a 4-year senior here, about to take one more step into the future. More so, I am in awe of how much I have accomplished and dealt with to get to this point. Much of my past has been a complicated roller coaster of events, one by one, good and bad, that have taken me on this remarkable journey. My earliest memories are of a worry-free life that revolved around elementary school, when my only worry was what I was going to wear the next day. But then the realities of life came barging through my door. Perseverance has always been one of my most important values. However, in early days, I obviously didn't have a clue as to what the word was or what the weight that it carries. The time when I had to persevere through the most so far in my life was really the first time that my morale was exposed to the true darkness that life can bring. For my birthday serves a reminder with each passing year. It was my 12th birthday, October 24th, 2014, when everything within my small circle of life changed. I woke up with the excitement of the average newly 12-year-old girl on their birthday had, excited to open gifts and plan all the necessities of celebration. But then I walked downstairs to a nearly empty house. My father told me that my mom had to be rushed to the hospital for observations. I was completely oblivious to anything that my mother was going through before that day. Feeling sick to my stomach, my dad took me to my friend's house to spend the day while he awaited my mother at the hospital. The following week was absolute torture. My mom constantly reassured me that everything was going to be okay, that she was just fine, and she was just awaiting the results so she could figure out what she needed for her so-called quick fix. Exactly a week after my mother was released from the hospital, after my mother was released from the hospital, I was in class when I got a call dismissing me from school. Usually we're pretty excited to be excused from school, but I left with possibly the largest pit in my stomach. It was deeply unsettling to enter my mother's car, to see his face full of tears and spiritual expressions. It was deeply unsettling. Oh, my bad. Not a word was exchanged on the car ride home. As soon as my driveway became visible, I noticed that my entire family was home. My brother was supposed to be away at boarding school, here at Kent Hill, in fact. But instead, he was here. My grandparents had driven over 3 hours to collect him, and they made their way to my house. Puzzled, I sat down next to my brother, who seemed to have expressed the same emotions as my grandparents and I. A few moments thereafter, my mother blurted out these exact words, which will stay with me forever. Mommy has cancer. They have given me some time to figure out what I want to do for my last 6 months. It didn't quite settle with my brain that my own mother was dying. My brother and I sat on our couch together in shock for a good dose of time, feeling all the feelings, anger, confusion, sadness, you name it. It felt like my entire life had took a sharp turn for the worst. The days afterward kept getting worse. All of the pain that I was feeling caused me to get used to the idea of isolation, isolating myself, my feelings, and everything in between. Middle school was such a dark time for me because of that very reason. All of those growing pains that the average teen had gone through were amplified in my case. Being isolated from my friends slowly led to them forgetting about me. Being called various names and made fun of for receiving higher marks as a middle schooler in my maturity. It was all a nightmare. I was dealing with that in public, but little did they know that behind the blinds, I was dealing with an even greater pain that made everything look so small in comparison. My mother battling cancer gave me an experience of pain that not a lot of people my age have to go through. However, it also gave me a multitude of strengths. Seeing her battle with such grace has given me more than enough reason to keep going about my everyday life. She encouraged me to shoot for the moon. Firstly, by letting me escape my old situation at my old school so I could be who I am and bloom as a person. Her fire is absolutely contagious. That predicted 6-month-long fight that I had mentioned before had recently turned into 6 years. 6 long, hard-fought years. Every single day is a battle for her and my entire family. All of the downs experienced have given us so many new virtues to live by. Reasons to keep going and persevere through everything that life has thrown at us. It was particularly hard for me to grow in my past situations because of the situation I was in with my social life. I was generally alone, with the exception of my family. In my old school, I didn't have very many friends. No one to trust, no one to talk to. Isolation was my resort. It ultimately led me to me hiding my own feelings from my own family. With the decision to move schools came the most powerful decision of my life. That decision might have saved my life. It definitely changed it in the best way. Here at Kent Hill, I gained a family. Throughout my 4 years of being a key part of this community, everyone has made it so much easier to persevere through the situations in my life outside. I found people that I trust, people to open up to. I also gained the confidence to challenge myself academically, athletically, and socially, which made me end up in the hardest possible classes, a leadership role on both of my athletic teams, and a whole circle of friends and adults that I can call family. And I've performed solidly in all aspects. Being a part of this community has also taught me to persevere through tough times that high school can bring. Coming full circle, I would not know where I am today without having gone through every downfall that I had experienced. I would not be the person I am today without the contagious tenacity that my mom radiates. Her fight is my fight. Her fight is my family's fight. Even though she may not directly know it, she has taught me so much more than what an average person should know. Additionally, I would not be the person I am today if I had not made the decision to join this community. For the people that came into my life have made the task of persevering through every day all the more easier. Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. That was incredible. And now let's continue with our sophomore awards. The Glenn Dana Award was established by the class of 1974 in memory of their classmate, Glenn Alexander Dana. It is awarded to a student who demonstrates academic and athletic promise, respect for others, and a zest for life. The 2020 recipient of the Glenn Dana Award is Aaron Jones. I'm smiling because he's right over there. The Stuart Payne Robinson Award is given to the student who accepts the moral and intellectual challenges of life without fear and gives of self whenever called. The 2020 recipient of the Stuart Payne Robinson Award is Jackson Melendy. We also give the Kensel Award for Academic Achievement to 4 sophomore students for their educational commitment, growth, or improvement. The 4 2020 sophomore recipients of this award are Lauren McCallig, Jackson Melendy, Charlotte Precourt, and Jacob Behnke. Congrats. Kensal School also honors several distinguished scholars every year. This award is given to the student from each class who has the highest grade point average. And as you might guess, these are very competitive awards because of how many stellar students there are in each class. So this is a big deal. Our 2020 distinguished scholars are, from last year's freshman class, Kaila Danielson. From last year's sophomore class, Amita Nanda. And from last year's junior class, TJ Folsom. Congrats, guys. The last 8 months have been challenging for many reasons, including a few that have little to do with the COVID-19 pandemic. The shootings of Breonna Taylor in March and George Floyd in May caused a massive uproar in the United States, leading to protests and counter-protests in several cities across the country. Americans have also witnessed the return of catastrophic wildfires on the West Coast and the acceleration of a pretty nasty presidential election. As the old adage goes, when it rains, it pours. At a time like this, perseverance can seem daunting. Most of us like to believe that persisting through life's challenges is always a possibility, but some situations are obviously tougher than others. Our second speaker is a Kensal student who has reflected at length on the necessity and the undeniable difficulty of persevering. So in a second, please give your undivided attention to Aaron Jones.
Hi everyone. The word perseverance carries a powerful meaning. While many people will tell you to achieve and persevere, they rarely realize the difficulty of overcoming obstacles, maintaining discipline, and staying strong mentally. Perseverance can be summarized as not giving up or achieving something despite the difficulty, but I interpret it as turning a loss into a lesson. I have learned that if I can come back stronger than I ever did before, I have the power to change the world around me. Nelson Mandela once said, "I never lose, I either win or learn." And that quote is always with me wherever I go. Perseverance is the reason I can go to a boarding school. It's the reason I continue to show improvement each year, and it's even the reason I am speaking to you today. If you don't take anything away from this speech, take away this. No matter our background, race, or religion, there's one thing that connects us all: the fact that everyone at this event has persevered through a difficult time in their past. This year has been a roller coaster of events. When COVID-19 first struck the United States, everyone was forced to go home. While at the time everyone was happy to go home early for spring break, we didn't realize this would be the last time we would see our friends in over 6 months. As COVID-19 cases continued to rise, the date to go back to school continued to be pushed back. Eventually, it got to the point where all of the students in the U.S. had to do class virtually. This hurt me because I wasn't able to see my brother graduate at Kent Hill. Instead, he had his diploma mailed to him. COVID-19 took so many opportunities away from people. many people started to lose jobs, money, resources, and even loved ones. It felt like the world was falling apart. But what affected me the most was seeing a black man being suffocated to death on the news. His name was George Floyd. When I saw that cop plant his knee on George Floyd's neck, it hurt me. It felt like he had his knee on my neck. Watching George's soul leave his body after saying, "I can't breathe" for 8 minutes put me in a state of fear and anger. And the crazy part about this is that it's been happening for centuries. It just wasn't recorded like it is now. African Americans were freed from slavery on January 31st, 1865, over 150 years ago. And yet it feels like African Americans are not free. African Americans are placed in prison for petty crimes and given 20 years. My friend was held at gunpoint by a cop because they thought he fit the description of another black man, and he hasn't been the same mentally. And the fact that me stating my life matters offends others has me in a state of disbelief. It got to the point where school was an afterthought. It was hard to focus in school because the world was in crisis. I was depressed for a little while. Day by day, it became harder to have a good attitude because the news would broadcast George Floyd's death like it was a television show. I was filled with sadness. Eventually, I was given the opportunity to speak on police brutality and social justice at a town hall meeting. I didn't know if I could do it. With all these doubts in my mind, it was hard to make a decision, but I realized that I need to have my voice heard. Over 100 people attended the meeting, which gave me butterflies, but it also gave me hope that people were willing to listen to my perspective on social justice. The town hall meeting motivated me to do better in class. Before, I wasn't trying my best and I was satisfied with a passing grade. But after the meeting, I realized I can't take school for granted because not many black teenagers make it to boarding school. I was able to finish the school year with 4 A's and 2 B's. I persevered. Perseverance has been in my family's genes for generations. My ancestors persevered through violence, forced labor, and discrimination, so I can have a voice and freedom. My grandfather persevered through discrimination in the police force and in life. I have realized that being a cop in the south side of Chicago has so many challenges, and he did it so his children and grandchildren could have a better life than he did. He joined the police force to prove that not all cops are against African Americans. He joined to protect neighborhoods in Chicago like my mom's, and I try to carry that same perseverance with me every day. My father persevered by utilizing an unequal education system. Now my father works for the #1 steel company in the world. My mother persevered by losing a job at the American Cancer Society to working for an organization that offers education and information for the health and wellness of 22 million black women and girls. And I believe everyone at this event is persevering by going to school and teaching during a pandemic that has taken over 1 million lives globally. As I reflect on the word perseverance, I have realized that every day is a chance for me to persevere. Before coming to campus, I was scared to leave my family, but I understood that if I don't take this opportunity, I won't be able to reach my goal. Whatever path I choose to take in life, I know that I want to promote change so my children can grow up in a world of social justice. That's why I need to persevere in school, so I can contribute to changing the criminal justice system and even improve the education system in low-income areas. Perseverance is what fuels me to do better and make a change. Now, as I conclude this speech, I want to leave you with a quote. I hated every minute of training, but I said don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life a champion, Muhammad Ali.
Thanks, Aaron. That was awesome. Our final sequence of awards is devoted to last year's juniors, and it culminates in our 5 prestigious college book awards. So get ready. This is going to be a long list. The Rensselaer Medal is given by Kent Hill's math and science departments and is awarded to a junior with an outstanding record in math and science. The winner of the 2020 Rensselaer Medal is T.J. Folsom. The Bausch and Lomb Honorary Science Award is presented to the junior who has demonstrated excellence in science. The winner of the 2020 Bausch and Lomb Award is Alexis Gadsden. The Eric Nestler Plote Award is awarded to a junior in memory of Eric Plote, class of 1989, who became a leader of this school community through his own determination, perseverance, and goodwill. The recipient of the 2020 Eric Nestler Plote Award is Sara Donovan. The Jenny Flood Krieger Award was established in 1937 by Jenny Flood Krieger. It nominates a junior who is outstanding in character and scholarship. The 2020 recipient of the Jenny Flood Krieger Award is Melendy Feeney. The William W. Dunn Award is awarded in memory of William W. Dunn, headmaster of Kent Hill School from 1942 to 1965, whose lifelong interest was to develop in every student the desire to achieve his or her individual potential and to serve the community. The 2020 recipient of the William W. Dunn Award is Adhit Desai. The Cameron Dow Scholarship is awarded to a male boarding student rising into the 12th grade who, like Cameron, is quietly altruistic, a loyal and respected friend, has compassion for all living things, and possesses an innate wisdom and courage beyond his years. The 2020 recipient of the Cameron Dow Scholarship is Immanuel Redah. The Phi Beta Kappa Award is awarded to a junior who is striving to go on to higher education and who has demonstrated intellectual curiosity and achievement beyond the classroom. The 2020 winner of the Phi Beta Kappa Award is Melendy Feeney. The Smith College Book Award is awarded to the young woman in the junior class who exemplifies academic achievement, leadership, and a concern for others. The 2020 winner of the Smith College Book Award is Yingxin Alex Go. The George Washington Book Award recognizes high school juniors who embody the GW drive and spirit, specifically with their academic excellence, leadership outside of the classroom, diversity of thought, and ability to put knowledge into action. The 2020 recipient of the George Washington Book Award is Adhit Desai. The Williams Book Award is given to a junior who has demonstrated intellectual leadership and has made a significant contribution to the extracurricular life of the school. The 2020 winner of the Williams Book Award is Melanie Volpe. The Dartmouth College Award is awarded to the member of the junior class who is of outstanding personal character, intellectual promise, and exemplary citizenship. The 2020 recipient of the Dartmouth College Award is Danielle Eid. The Yale Book Award is awarded to a member of the junior class who is of outstanding personal character and intellectual promise. The 2020 recipient of the Yale Book Award is Delaney Feeney. Congratulations to all of the junior award winners. You deserve it. Finally, today we will honor two of this year's seniors, last year's juniors, by inducting them into the Cum Laude Society, which is the highest academic award that Kents Hill School faculty can bestow. The Cum Laude Society is a national honor society modeled on the Phi Beta Kappa. 3 words form the motto of Cum Laude: Arite, meaning excellence, Dike, meaning justice, and Time, meaning honor. With at least 2 years of study at Kents Hill to establish their reputations as top scholars, today's 2 early inductees show us what can be accomplished by a wonderful mixture of responsibility, scholarship, and perseverance. These scholars are Yingxin, Alex, Go, and TJ Folsom. Congratulations to both of you. We will end today's celebration by hearing from our faculty speaker, Ms. Shaylee Dumont. As a teacher, coach, and dorm parent who also became a new mom in the middle of a global pandemic, Ms. Dumont knows a thing or two about perseverance. I have no doubt we will all be better off after listening to what she has to say. So, in a second, please give your undivided attention to Ms. Dumont.
Hello everyone. Most of you know me as Miss Dumont. I want to share 3 pieces of advice with you regarding perseverance. Before I do that, let me share a little bit about my own experience to give you some context. And as an added challenge, I'm going to try to not get emotional during this. In 2006, I was a first-year student at Kents Hill School. It was the first time I had the opportunity to attend a different school than my identical twin sister. And I absolutely loved it. Not because I didn't like my sister, but imagine being really good at something, but then this other person is just slightly better. So it was liberating to not be compared to a ridiculously awesome human being 24/7. Things were going great. That is until Mother's Day, when my twin sister flipped over the handlebars of a bike and fractured her skull. There was a chance the damage would cause her to have seizures for the rest of her life and that she would never be able to beat me in sports again. My mother was switching jobs at the time, so we were not covered by insurance, and multiple days in the intensive care unit add up to a hefty sum. At some point, my parents took out a second mortgage, but our house was old and oil prices kept climbing. I don't know all the financial details, but I know it was cold, much like it is right now. Friends stopped coming over. We washed our dishes in the tub and then had to take sponge baths because that was the only hot water. Toward the end of my sophomore year in 2008, we were evicted. In the summer, after my junior year, my parents split up. In my senior year, my mother's insurance company stopped covering the medication she had been taking for years, and we couldn't afford it otherwise. So she had to adjust to a new medication. On May 17th, 2010, just weeks before I was going to graduate from Kents Hill School, I woke up and found my mother unresponsive. an overdose. Months later, I took a 30-hour bus trip to the Midwest to start college. I had one suitcase. I had to juggle work and school. I literally had to eat lettuce sandwiches. I can teach you the recipe anytime. And borrow textbooks. I believe I've had plenty of opportunities to practice perseverance. So if I've convinced you of my credentials, please let me share with you those 3 pieces of advice. Be positive, move forward, and have perspective. The personal story I just told you highlighted the most challenging aspects of my life. But my high school experience and college years contained many lucky moments as well. My sister made a full recovery. I got to stay at Kent Hill. I got into my first choice college. My work experience helped me get other jobs, like this one. I urge you to catch yourself when you start bundling all of the bad things together and instead consider all of the good things that happened during that time period as well. It doesn't make your problems go away, but it can be a reminder that just as time can bring misfortune, it can also bring blessings. As you can imagine, I had a lot of stress and anxiety about what was going to happen to me after college. I would try to push it out of my mind and keep studying and going to work, but there were times when I would find myself laying in bed frozen. I eventually learned to recognize these moments and pivot to something else. Accomplishing another task helped me regain control of my mood and thoughts, which enabled me to chip away at all the other tasks that needed my attention. Along with this was a realization that beating myself up over mistakes and shortcomings didn't help me move forward. I encourage you to not feel badly over your grades or of how you think other people are judging you. Instead, focus on the things you can control, such as the effort you put in and your intentions, and just keep making steps in the right direction. 8 months ago and 2 days, my partner and I welcomed our first child into this world. 2 weeks later, the COVID lockdown began. For the next 15 weeks, Alex and I were the only people who held our daughter. This reality was starkly different from what I had imagined, especially living at a boarding school. It was extremely isolating and worrisome and exhausting. And it still is. But is it easier to be a high schooler not able to attend a school dance? Or the parents of a 3-year-old who keeps asking to see their family? Or an impoverished family who has to work without adequate protective equipment? We are all living through a global pandemic. And although I am hopeful that a vaccine will be ready soon, we are also living through a period of unprecedented climate change. It is projected that we will have 150 to 200 million climate change refugees by 2050. And there is a tipping point where our carbon dioxide emissions will be so intense that we cause the next ice age and mass extinction. I hope this pandemic will give us all a new perspective about what is important. Developing tools to persevere is more important now than ever. The problems we face may seem overwhelming. In order to continue living on Earth, we must develop perspective to see the whole picture, and to be able to prioritize changes that protect our future. We must stay positive and be passionate about implementing the many changes we could make today to start addressing these issues globally and locally. And we must keep moving forward. No matter what greed or corruption try to stop us, one day we will all have an epic perseverance story to tell and an audience to share it with. Thank you.
Wow, that was awesome. I just really want to say congratulations to all of the award winners. Really phenomenal to see all the work that you've done be recognized today. It has been too long, but it's no less special to be able to share these honors today in so many ways. And to all of you, to the just number of you who have achieved beyond what you ever thought you could, continue to do so. We're really proud of all of you for all of your academic achievements. I also want to make special note and thank Dr. Priest for presiding today, but in particular our three speakers who were truly remarkable and inspirational to me, and I hope they were to you as well. Thank you. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We are here in cold outdoor Kents Hill, and thanks to our Director of Technology for putting this together for us so that we could share this around the world with everyone today. Again, thank you, congratulations, and keep moving forward. One quick reminder, don't forget about the COVID homecoming events from 3 to 5 this afternoon. Thank you. Enjoy a little rest and relaxation, maybe get caught up on some work. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.